Hello again. So this is round two, directly after recording the first part of the story of Mad Spanner. First up, the story of Mad Spanner. Now it's the story of the wrong shade of orange. Going through the track listing one at a time. So I can maybe give you guys a little bit of in-depth. Well, not that in depth, not that deep, but maybe like an insight into the songs and the inspiration that flowed into them. Okay, so first up we've got Squash, which is supposed to just open the album like a. Ooh, I got a text. Oh fuck, it's spam. Right, so yeah, it's supposed to. Hit the bat like boom, explosion, riffs, noise, to open the album and live. Here's where we are. Here's the thing. It's 1 minute of just basically just riffs and just getting used to the sound. The riffs themselves is actually like half the next song, Wrong Shade. You know, the it's actually just that riff. It's like a preliminary into that song. But also there's the first riff, the first half of the Squash is actually just the leftovers from Spaghetti Blowjob Tornado, which didn't make it onto the album. And in a way that's almost like a segue from like from the previous stuff in Aberystwyth into the now in Shrewsbury. So this song is like a bridging of the gap and a good way of opening the album. Song number 2, Wrong Shade. So Wrong Shade is really just about anxiety, and I don't even know what it's about really. I didn't really think about writing the lyrics; they just kind of wrote themselves. I think it's about a daydream when you know like snapping out of it, like zone out. And you know, I'm just trying to describe, you know, zoning out and trying to go with the flow and being anxious and socially anxious in general. And that this when you music is really just about, you know, nerds or geeks or whatever trying to just, you know, find a place just to be weird or whatever. Like this is a weird thing, Mad Spanner, and it's for weird people, you know, and I like weird people. They're the best kind of people. So this is a song about like fuck it, you know. Even a month or two after writing that thing, I still don't really know what it's about. It's about a daydream. It's about I like it. It's got a nice tongue twister for playing live while playing the bass. Quite challenging to play, and really looking forward to playing that with a live drummer. Okay, then you got forced to use a shitty drum machine, which sums up the drumming predicament of the past year. My first instrument was drums. And I love playing the drums, but the problem is that I travel around quite a lot, and the drums are actually a very encumbersome instrument to sort of carry around everywhere. So I eventually switched over to bass and then to guitar and all the other things. To do this as a frontman of sorts, I had to rely on a drum machine, and doing this have got no drum kit in Shrewsbury, so still have to use a drum machine. And the real point behind it is about singularity, about overuse of technology. We're using a drum machine, but what you know, like our reliance on technology or just giving into it, you know, I just think about like technology just basically you know, like overruling mankind in some sort of singularity fashion. Like I don't seriously think of it. This is more like a really ironic and kind of like, you know, a very absurd over exaggeration. Just because I'm forced to use a drum machine now basically means like robots are taking over 01011010 and enslavement of humans. Like the worst case scenario, just like times 1,000 of just like from one thing to another thing within 90 seconds. But, I like that song. It's really heavy to play live. It's one of my favourites to play live. It just 01011010, and your nan can play that. Okay, next one is I Didn't Kick Your Dog, which is a punk song about being misunderstood. We take that cliche and just basically, let's play a nice, simple punk song about not kicking someone's dog. Which I didn't, by the way. Next song, we've got Massacre of the Flies. No, seriously, I didn't kick any dogs. Like, that song was just made up. Just. Nah. Number 5, we've got Massacre of the Flies. Now, my ex was sort of swatting flies around the room and asked me to help. And what I did is I just grabbed an electric guitar and just started riffing, and that was that riff. And it just sort of seemed fitting. So with that music, I then changed the lyrics into this thing about being like a pacifist, like not wanting to step on bugs and catching them in. That's what I just like catching them into thing and just put them outside the window. But flies really fuck me off. The song is really just about the conflict of conscience, the cognitive distance between, oh, but it's a living thing, and I did a little bit of research into this, about flies. There's a lyric in there like life renewal. Like maggots are quite interesting because they could be seen as like the end of a life cycle, because when you rot decompose, there's worms at the very end of a life cycle, but then they're also the beginning of another life cycle where they get eaten by birds and other things. So they're the start of the food chain and also at the end of the food chain as well. I find that like a very cyclic thing, and maggots I thought were quite interesting from a lyrical standpoint. Also, Kieran Scott, who mixed the album and did the album artwork, also guests on this album vocally. So those good death growl vocals, which I can't do, he does them. Yeah. Number 6, I was caught shitting in a plastic bag. This song is actually a true story. This song I really enjoy playing live. It's just 50 seconds of just going rah. And it is based on a true story, and you know what? I don't regret it. I own that. I'm a good clowny. I own my mistakes. I wear them like a shield. It's one of the most embarrassing things, but it does make for a good story. And I'll tell you what, that pillow that I saw in the lyrics, don't worry fellow, because it made a nice pillow. That bag of shit was actually the best pillow I've ever had, like for 3 reasons. Like it's warm, it molds to the shape of your face, and when you wake up, like you got a plaster cast of your face just sitting there, and it's the most absurd thing, and you'd be surprised what people buy on Etsy. So 7, get off your bastard phone, you antisocial dickhead. Well, I never said I wasn't a hypocrite. For a long time, I didn't have an up-to-date mobile phone, so I look at other people in social signings, and people always looking down at their phones, like in social contexts, like go out and people will be on the phones constantly, or I'm on a bus and I look outside and literally everyone's on the street, sort of in their own world. And you're like, we're living life right now. We need to look at the other thing instead of like your own Facebook lives and your own vanity. And this song is not only me sort of going with sort of the tired like millennial sort of yawn, like I understand where they're coming from, where like they just don't get like keep up with technology. I mean, just basically like a dinosaur. There is truth to that. Social messaging is the new way of being social. I'm just not evolving to a point where I'm being social like everyone else. I think it's just the awkwardness of just being in between and that cognitive distance, and that's where that song is. I also really enjoyed that the last breakdown on that. That's a really challenging bit to play, and I can't wait until we play that live with the drums, and it's just gonna smash. It's gonna be amazing. Then you got Anal Sex, which is the ballad. It's about this love story. It's so like it's Valentine's Day, and she's this by the way is not reflective of me. This is a hypothetical sort of scenario. They're trying to step it up, in the bedroom, and she really likes rimming, and he's a bit, icky about it. But he looks himself in the mirror, and he just I'll do this for her. I'll do this for love. That's what this song's about. It's a love song. It's a deeply rooted love song about rimming. Next song is Alectorophobic Nosebleed, which is basically about the fear of chickens, alectorophobia. It was inspired by... Oh, hang on. It's inspired by a book. Hang on, wait. Hang on. It was in this quote book about chickens. So I was reading this at work, working in a phone company. So when people ask for a quote, I can just be like, jokes. So it was under Seeing Chickens, and this bit stood out by a German director, by Werner Herzog. Stupidity is the devil. Look in the eyes of a chicken and you'll know. It's the most horrifying, cannibalistic and nightmarish creature in this world. cannibalistic nightmare-feathered creatures. So it was about this guy, Werner Herzog, the visionary German filmmaker who suffered from electrophobia, a morbid fear of chickens. The bleak ending of Strozek, 1977, features a chicken dancing in an amusement arcade, which was also the film playing when Ian Curtis of Joy Division committed suicide in 1981. So you make riffs, and like odd numbers are like, you know, like more aggressive, kind of like it's like one in Metallica. It ends on an odd number, and it's hitting. It's more aggressive. It's going somewhere and stops. It's that stop start. But if you end a riff on an even number, then there's a bounce to it. It has a more jazzy, kind of swingy kind of feel. Until you hit another odd number where suddenly it adds more emphasis on it, if that makes sense. So, from a riff making kind of perspective, this was really fun song to play because there was that sort of made the riff, and and the song kind of wrote itself. This was the very last song that was written for this album specifically. And all the songs lined up, that had the final track listing, but this bit of inspiration came out. I was just like, I have to put this thing on. I just have to put this song on. Like live, there's that mosh bit in the middle, you know, that bit where it just sounds like black metal almost, Carpathian foresty kind of vibe. You know, the lyrics just kind of came together. Electrophobic nosebleed, a scenario where some guy, he has this this trip of just scared of chickens, then he just runs into a pole, so there's a bit of slapstick in there. But really, it's just like putting a shining light on phobias, irrational ones. Actually, funny enough, electrophobic is actually surprisingly common. I found out with my Wikipedia research. So yeah, electrophobic nosebleed, one of my favourites. Next one we've got Got Smashed at the Job Centre. Another one where it tried doing melody, but if I'm being entirely honest, I'm not sure if this works the best. It's got like a pop punky kind of feel. I think there's a lot of like major chords in there, or just, you know, like the chords sound bright. I have no idea of any like musical knowledge, class, or you know, or theory. That's the word, theory. I don't know any of that. So the things seem very bright in that song, like with scale as well. I think it's a major pentatonic scale as well. I think, I don't know. It's the shape, right, of the thing. Lyrically, the album starts to take a bit of a turn here, where it goes into real world, almost politics of being like down and out. Like it's one that I feel like it's not the best. It's not the best version, especially lyrically, because there's supposed to be like maybe melody, which I just cannot achieve with my voice very well. I'm just not there yet. The song I'm still not sure about, but it in the album it kind of changes things up a little bit, just to show a little bit of variety. I think we'll probably never play this live because it's very difficult to do the bass popping. You miss a string out in the middle, and it's like and like you do that quite a lot in thing. And it's a song that came out as feeling rather than artifice. It's an alright song. Avocado Commando. This also is after a song called Avocado Piano, which I wrote on this keyboard just down there. Yeah, that keyboard. Yeah. So what the fuck have I just done there? No, that keyboard. I did the classical piece on. I actually quite like classical music. Philip Glass is like one of my all-time favourites, and he does like a lot of odd tale sequences. It's quite simple. As being a drummer first, Philip Glass' style of playing piano is really like. Really simple. It's repetitive. It goes on rhythm rather than melody, and I fell in love with that kind of music. So one part of it, you'll hear it in Mad Rush, you'll hear it in Metamorphosis, where there's a sort of scale where you sort of go back and forth kind of thing. And I don't even know if I'm playing in the right scale or not, but I just basically picked up some notes that sounded good going that way, with each of the fingers going like that, and then the sort of going back and forth, and it's going up by one key each time, up from the first note right up until the very last. And I thought it sounded okay. There's the feeling of grandiosity that's supposed to be there, because when it goes into Avocado Commando, it's about a pervert whose defense about it was that his balls grow to the size of avocado, so he has to get them out. It's a compulsion. He has to rearrange because they just swell to the size of avocados. I find that fucking hilarious. So with that, I'm trying to go into the mind of the person, like it's a gift and a curse. This compulsion to show his balls to people. I wanted to make it sound like Mozart, like Amadeus. I wanted to make it sound really, really grandiose and sort of like counterbalance the extreme baseness of this next song. I really, really like intellectual subtext of these things, but I think you got to go really. I think there's room for crass nature in lyrics. I think that if you're going to go extremes into different things, you've also got to go into the bass stuff. Like I could do a song about singularity. I could also do a song about balls. It's a very simple song, but lyrically, I actually really, really love that song. One problem is that I think it's the big dud that now it's been a month now since the album's come out, and I'm listening to it back, and it's the one song I can't listen to because I actually try and hold a note and I can't. I cringe every single time that avocado. I can't. I'm thinking I might have to re-record it and upload it and replace it on the Bandcamp. That's probably the thing I have to do just to sleep at night. Vocally, I find it very, very challenging. I could find another singer, but then where's my man? Apparently I'm a good frontman. It's a performing side, and I think it's more about feeling and spirit in the live setting than it would be, vocally. So I'm just going to have to make do with what I got. And I didn't bring the goods in this one. So live, this is much better than on the album, and I'll work on this. So then it goes into Seagulls Haunt Me in My Sleep. I'm thinking again, like that German director, I'm thinking like art house, like theatre, just this weird. I was messing around on the keyboard. Actually, I can try and set it up for you right now. Bear with me a moment. Avocado piano. Anyway, so I was doing. So there's this. You got these sound effects on the keyboard here. Ooh, so you got these sound effects on the keyboard here. I don't know if you can hear it. And I was just having a play through them. That's a machine gun apparently. Footsteps. And there was one that just went to. Where is it? Siren. Sounds creepy. And I think I came back drunk to my place, and I was just messing around on the things, and I was just basically giggling to myself all night, just having my own entertainment with this sound effect. Electrophobia, but for seagulls. I really hate seagulls. They both did a song called "Fuck Off Seagull," and that song's like my bin day anthem at the time. Basically, it's just like this. Almost like this theatrical, overly dramatic kind of thing, like I did theatre, so like it had to be like 150% over the top, just stupidity, just like seagulls, and this apparition of them just basically tearing me to shreds. Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, Nevermore kind of feel about the doom kind of vibe, but I just wanted to make this kind of avant-garde kind of sounding, so and all it is just random notes. And just that monologue over the top. Genius. Then you got the last song, "Escape into Reality," which is a song about existentialism. It's a song about, I don't know, like this about between new age and science and technology, and I don't know. Like lyrically, I still don't know what it's. I don't know. I don't have any answers. And I'm just a fucking conduit. Like I don't know. The music just Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. Musically, like it's the last song that me and Mark back in Aberystwyth actually came up with. He guitar solo and the guitar lead, and I sort of pieced the song together, constructed it, and composed it, and kind of made it a song. But like you can hear the influence, the stoner kind of vibe, maybe a bit of the psychedelia, and that was definitely Mark's influence. Escape into reality. I'm talking about delusion. About sort of being in your own world, and if you like looking back in the past, and time sort of goes faster because you're just not living in the present. People are obsessed with nostalgia. Equilibrio inception was a weird one because that's a word I literally just made up, like in Shakespeare or a lunatic, where basically equilibrioception, I was thinking of equilibrioception is the sense of balance. That's the definition of equilibrioception is balance, and I thought inception is the start of something. So equilibrio inception is like the start of this sense of balance, like you've just discovered this sense of balance. If that makes sense. So equilibrio inception is like my own kind of word, and that was actually the working title for the song, but no one would get it from just looking at that and going, oh right, that song's called equilibrio inception. What a turd. I think it's a song that's quite personal. I don't know really what the lyrics are about. They just kind of go onto paper, but it's really just about me trying to get my mind back and kind of being more in the present. I had this really bad mental breakdown in university, and I think that through this album, trying to find my creative spark again is really just basically finding my sanity and just basically being sort of at peace and and having that balance. It's a very optimistic song, and I really liked how it ends. It's actually, I think, the best constructed song. It's the one that I'm happy to sort of share to everyone, regardless of their musical backgrounds, and go, this is a thing that I did. The guitar solo at the first half Mark does, but the second half I specifically learned a scale which I've instantly forgotten now. But I did a scale in a week just trying to learn this scale and how to shred that last bit. When it goes to equilibrium and that background solo, and just the feeling towards it and how it ends, and it's just one thing to another. I'm really super proud of that song. It's well live. But we need to find another guitarist if we're going to get those solos in. Yeah, I'm really happy the way the album ends. I think it ends on a strong note, and escape into reality. Yeah. I should also mention the last two bonus tracks. If you download the album on Bandcamp, or you buy one of these CDs, one of the shows, then they come with two bonus tracks, which were both songs that were crafted just before moving to Shrewsbury, and they deal with that sort of that uncertain feeling of uncertainty, of adventure, and leaving stuff behind while going forward into the future. First one's called Aberystwyth Bubble, which is basically just about feeling isolated. It's an instrumental. Mostly focused on bass. I added some guitar in, and I'm not sure if it really works as in if I put the whole guitar and flesh it out into a full song. But like in terms of creative baggage, it's just something to get out there and then just sort of just move on with it, because otherwise it's just gonna be in the back forever. Maybe it'll be like this fully fledged song in the future, but for now, it's basically just a drum and bass instrumental with some extra guitar just added on when it feels appropriate. It's got a bit of swagger, it's got a bit of uncertainty, it does end on a climax, and then like this sort of doomy bit at the end. I don't know, it's the most prog thing off the album, if there ever is any prog on the album. But it's also one of the most fun songs to play on the bass, for me, personally, because there's this, it's a thing. Then you've got From the Outside, where it's a very much and that's basically just it just had to. And then you got From the Outside, which is probably the most personal song out of the lot. It's got no sense of humour about it. It just mixes anywhere with the whole album. It's not what I'm going for live. I'm not gonna bring out the keyboard and do like some actual song thing with this. It's completely the opposite. But it's really just a song about mourning and feelings. And, that's the whole album in a nutshell. Mad Spanner. If you get this album from us in a live concert, which I'm really looking forward to playing, they come with these pieces of paper. Now, on the Wrong Shade video, I did basically a stop motion thing of all these pages being drawn like slowly, and it all came together like a lyric video. So if you buy the CD live from us live, then basically it'll have one of these pieces of paper, original artwork. In there, just because I'm not going to throw these away, but also they take space, and I think they serve better, with you guys. So I don't know if that's the thing you're into, I guess. So yeah, this has been a very anxious video. Sorry for all the ums and the likes and all the other bad mannerisms. And so yeah, Mad Spanner will be anxiously awaiting a live show to just explode and be like run, yeah, and it's depression. They're basically like, you're gonna smash life. I can't wait to kick this in the dick. It's gonna be amazing. So yeah, I can't wait until I introduce the other band members. We're gonna be jamming. We've got a rehearsal space, and we're going to be finding places to play live, and we're gonna smash. It's gonna be the most frantic. It's gonna be the most energetic. It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be, we're gonna break the status quo. Too many live bands take their thing for granted. It's not exciting. I want to engage with the audience. Like the gap between the audience and the band. I want that gap to be diminished in any way possible, so that we're in one thing together. We're not higher than the audience. We're all just having this. We're just navigating this next 40 minutes of music together in some weird awkwardness. And I love awkwardness. I love sort of interchanging that with some sort of weird comedy. I know it's off the cuff. It's spontaneous and it's like 1,000 miles per hour, and it'll be a thing. Supporting a band and just really supporting the band. Like, this is a thing. This band is that's going to play after us is, well, I don't know if they're going to match us for energy, but they're going to try. They're going to try because we're all going to have fun tonight, and afterwards we'll do our own shows, and then they'll be like they'll be even better. They'll be like, we'll support bands and we'll try and get involved with other people and try and get all the bands together, and it'll be so amazing. Oh my god, that's Mad Spanner in a nutshell, and we'll be playing next year soon. I need to stop talking. Bye. Woo! Mad Spanner got through this vlog.